what we'll now do is finish pinning our assets for the lower half of the character's body, and we'll also get prepared to rig things like our keys and flashlight. We can move right to the belt buckle prior to getting to our clips. Select the belt itself and smooth it out. Okay, once it's smooth, we can go to our edges and make sure that we apply our rivet. And we shouldn't need to put the belt in a layer at all. It should be easy to go ahead and just connect right to the rivet. That's why we've put the other objects within the layer. And again, remember to delete it afterwards. Okay, so we have our rivet. What we can do from here is make sure that our button is going to follow along with it, or our buckle. So we'll select the rivet, followed by the buckle, and do a parent constraint. Then we select our buckle and make sure that's going to be right underneath our view transforms, so we can see that. The rivet, let's go ahead and name that and place that in its group. So for this, we can simply call it RV underscore buckle. Since it's pretty much the only buckle within our scene, we know exactly what this rivet belongs to. Great, now we can apply it to its group. So we can just control click the rivet's group and hit P. Now that that's done, we're ready to set up our constraint. So that's going to be going from our character scale to this rivet and set up a scale constraint. There we are. We can test it out, selecting the hips, moving the hips around. Great. Excellent. So now that that's done, we can also test out our scale. Scale that up and down. Make sure everything is moving uniformly, and it is. Wonderful. So that is the setup of our belt buckle. Now, as far as our clips go, we're not only going to set up a rivet so that they'll be connected to the belt as well, but what we also want to do is do a simple blend shape so that they'll open up when we get prepared to take our flashlight out. So let's go ahead and work on that. Now, if we select the clip, we can see that it has a smooth node. Now, if you ever run into something like this while you're rigging, what I prefer to do, or what I would recommend, is to bring this object back to its division, its zero division, and get rid of this smooth node and then apply it again afterwards once we're done with our blend shapes and such, so we don't run into any weird errors of our geometry basically skewing out of proportion. So we'll just clean up the object, clean up its smooth face, and then bring that right back when we're ready to finalize this setup. So with our clip selected, one way we could do that is to go to our hybrid shade. Okay, once that loads up, there we are. We can go to that object's input-output connections and find its smooth node. There it is. So making sure we brought it down to a division of 0, we can now delete the smooth node comfortably. Then we can close that out and work on our connections. So first off, let's go ahead and set up that rivet. With our belt selected, we'll select our edges that we need to. Okay, the two adjacent edges. Apply the rivet. Do what we've been doing before, shrink it. We can even name it from here if we like. Call it RV underscore L underscore clip. Parent it under its group. We can do that now if we like. With it selected, we select our clip. Just making sure that we're in object mode first. So we'll select our rivet, select our clip. Go ahead and do a parent constraint. With that parent constraint now done, we can take our object, put it under view transforms, take our rivet, and that should already be applied under our group, so that's good. But we do need to set up its scale, so we select our character scale followed by the locator and do our scale constraint. Of course, from here we can test everything out, which we want to get into the habit of doing. Can move around our hips. Alright, great. So that's moving very nice. Now that that's done, we are ready. Let's even test out our scale, of course. We can go ahead and do that. Alright, good. So that's fine. And now we're ready to work on setting up that blend shape so that we can open up this clip and really getting even this small asset looking nice. So with that selected, of course we duplicate and move over. Now once the object has been moved over, let's go ahead and set up its actual blend shape. So we can go to our component mode and go to our verts. From here we go to wireframe, and this is again going to be much easier rather than working with this object in its higher poly form. We can just select much less verts than what we needed to prior to this. So we want to deselect everything that's leading to the other side of the clip. So we can just open up one side, simply as that. Go ahead and go to the other verts. And let's go to our rotate tool. We'll hit E. Now, this may be kind of difficult to, or it may be a little bit more work than we need to just rotate this out and get this clip opening up the way we'd like it to. Okay, with our pivot where it currently stands. So what we could do is with these verts selected, just hit insert, move the pivot, hit insert again, and roll the verts out. Simple as that. Then we can hit insert again. And again, actually we don't need to go back to insert mode. But again, make sure that when prior to going into insert mode, you're in the tool that you'd like to be in. So in this case, we were in our rotate tool. Otherwise, you may need to move the insert or the pivot again. So knowing that, we can now come out of our component mode. And with our clip selected, we'll now select our blend shape clip. And we can go to edit deformers, go to our blend shape, call this our left clip underscore shapes in case we were to add any other blend shapes to this, and just go ahead and hit create. Great, and we're going to also want to remember to apply this blend shape to its proper group. Okay, so once it's been made, we can actually do that. With it selected, we'll just control click blend shapes and hit P. Alright, so now what we should get when we select our object, go to its top node there for the shape, go to its blend shape and move it around. Notice, alright, we have the clip opening up. Okay, so with that, we can go back to applying our smooth node. And with that set up, we should just still be able to go back to our blend shape and open up the clip, and notice everything still looks nice. Great. Well, our right clip has been set up. We're going to do a similar process to our left clip, that is, has been set up, and we can do a similar process to the right. You can go ahead and move on to the next lesson, but I'm just going to go ahead and take care of the right clip the exact same way as we've done with our left clip. Okay, so again, you can move on to the next lesson, and that's where we're going to get into rigging our flashlight and check out another cool feature we can use for setting that up. Okay, so with this right clip, we want to first get rid of its smooth poly, so that's going back to our hypershade, waiting for it to load, show its input-output connections, making sure that our object here is going to be set to its zeroed division level, so we could just work with these low verts. Then we'll just go ahead and make sure we just select our smooth poly and delete that. We can close out now our hypershade, and with the belt buckle selected, we can go ahead and check out our rivet, where we can apply a rivet to, in this case, this one's going to be pretty close. We can just apply it to this vert here. That should just be fine. So we'll go ahead and go to our edge mode, select our belt, the edges for that, apply our rivet, scale it down, give it a name, call this the RV_R clip 01. Now that that's been done, we can from here go ahead and work on our connection. So that's going to be this clip, or the rivet for the clip, to the clip, constrain. Now we select the clip, place it underneath View Transforms, the rivet underneath its rivet group. Set up our scale. That's going to be character scale to the rivet. And scale constraint. Test everything out. Select our hip control. And it should move just fine. Alright. So now with that done, we undid our move. And now we're ready to work on the blend shape. Okay. The scale should even work fine too. If you wanted to, you could just go ahead and test that out. But of course that should work fine because we've been doing the same steps. So with that now done, let's go ahead and work on setting up our blend shape. With our object, just the clip object selected, we'll duplicate it. Bring over its duplication. Okay. Now that that's brought over, we'll go to our verts. Go to wireframe, just select the ones that we need. Deselect everything that we won't need. We can even frame these verts here. Go to our select tool so we don't get any of our transforms in the way. Great. Then we can move our verts for the first part of the clip. Select the next part of the clip. Verts, making sure all of those are selected. We go to our first rotate tool, then our insert mode tool. Move the pivot, come out of that, and rotate the clip out. So we can open that up. Great, so now that that's been done, we can go to our object mode, apply our blend shape. So that's going to be the shape. And what we could even do is, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and rename the clip if you like. I'm not going to go ahead and do that, but again, it'll help you to stay organized with your shapes. But with that selected, we go to our actual object, our base object. Go to Create Deformers and label this our right clip underscore shapes 01 node. Hit create. So now when we go to our top shape node, we can open up our clip very nicely, and then with it just selected, we can apply our smooth node. So we'll just have the clip selected, smooth it out. Okay, and with it now set to smooth, we go ahead and test our blend shape again. Great. What we could also do from here is select this object, place it underneath the blend shape node. Now it's hidden. Test out our scale to see how everything's going to move as we scale down our character. Go back to our clip. Test out our blend shape and notice everything is still fine. Great. So bringing back the character now to his default position, what we can do from here is stop the lesson, and now we're ready to focus on how we're going to be setting up our flashlight. So that'll be discussed in the next lesson.